Hello, dear ones. This is Bevin with Perceptive Souls, and welcome to your collective energy reading. Of course, these readings take place on a specific day. However, these are universal archetypes. So while I'm tapping into what's happening at this particular moment, whenever you find this video, whenever you listen to this message, it could pertain directly to your life because these are human cycles that we go through over and over and over. And I want to say thank you to those who have made a donation to support these collective energy readings. I get on and just allow this empathic, intuitive sense to flow through me. I used to be very overwhelmed by feeling and sensing all this collective energy and tried to shut it down. And recently I decided, I'm just going to open myself and allow it to flow through like a vessel, bring this out into the world right now, spread a positive message. And so I go through looking at various aspects, everything from relationships to career to money to our relationship with governments and world happenings, and then how that ties really into what you can do as an individual. So let's get started today. I really appreciate you being here. And every day I sense into a particular phrase or word that seems to be coming up so strongly. And the phrase that came forward this morning in my meditative space was longing for normal, right? So of course, each person has what they would be considered normal in their life. They have their daily routine and the work that they do in the world and their family situation and a certain way that they go about their life and certain days that they work and certain days when they're off. And there's sort of a normal. We get into this groove, right? We're like, yeah, I know what to expect. And this feels good. And I'm a child and I go into my classroom and this is what the teacher does and here's what my fellow students do. And then, with the recent events in our world, with the spread of the global virus, everything became abnormal. Everything got turned upside down on its head. And what I've noticed and what I've sensed into is that people are looking for a sense of normality. We like, especially our ego side of ourselves, really like to have certainty. It feels safe. It feels connected, right, when we have that. And so now we're developing our new normal, whatever that is. I saw a funny meme that said, it's 9 p.m., so time to change out of your day pajamas into your night pajamas. And I can honestly say that I just laughed and laughed because that definitely describes like my life. And I've been working from home for about 3.5 years now, so it hasn't been a huge adjustment for me. However, I can see that if someone was used to getting up and navigating rush hour traffic and packing the kids' lunch and getting people off to school and this and that and needing to be at the meeting by 9 a.m., that this would be very different. And sometimes I think people have tried to sort of recreate that at home. And then in some cases, people are like, I can't get motivated at all. I don't even know what the normal is. I don't even know how to manage my schedule, right? And so let's kind of get started and see what the cards have to tell us about the longing for normality and where we can really find what that is within. So the first card that came up was this one, and I love this card. It has such an amazing, strong energy, right? But it can feel like we've been just sort of running around and around and around. Here we go, right? Just chasing our tail, if you will. And yet there's this nebulous sort of jewel or goal or something in the middle, and we keep going around it and we keep going around it, but we can't quite reach it. We can't quite get there, right? We can see it, we can feel it, we can taste it, we can smell it, but we just can't quite get to it. And we can feel like some parts of it that are starting to leak out around the edges. This energy, whatever this goal is, whether it's starting your own business, whether it's taking this amazing vacation, whether it's building up your 401k to a certain point so you can retire, whether whatever that is, this sort of target that we have. This reminds me of a target, and all of these lines just going in and all of our attention focused on this. And then when the world events hit, we didn't know what to focus on anymore. We weren't sure where we were going. Most people weren't sure whether they were going to have a job, have a position, and that continues to be the case. And people are making adjustments. And, I saw that more people than ever in the history of the United States filed for unemployment, for example. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty. We used to have this routine. We used to have this goal in mind. And now we don't know quite what that is. And that part of ourselves that really wants to do things, that really wants to move forward towards things, that really wants to achieve is really the masculine, right? It's our masculine self. And no matter which gender you identify with, or no gender or fluid gender, we all have a masculine energy and we all have a feminine energy within us. So the masculine is very much the doing, the taking care of things, the setting goals and putting ourselves out there and being productive and achieving and making money and bringing that in. And women have that. And those who identify as female have that, just like those who identify as male. And in this card, you can see that the masculine just feels really burdened, right? Feels really burdened, has a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. And I'll say that, I want to acknowledge that the masculine energy and those who identify as male in our cultures have had a lot of weight on their shoulders and a lot of responsibility. And as they say, with deep responsibility and deep power, with deep power comes great responsibility. So, those who have this more masculine energy, and women can have this more masculine energy as well, have shouldered a burden. If you're a single mother, for example, you're having to be mother and father, perhaps. If you're a single father, you're having to be father and mother, perhaps, for your children. And so there's a lot of ways that the masculine has taken this on. And you kind of see the shackles and then the chains, and it feels like this burden. And, a lot of people who are coming in to do coaching with me right now, for example, they are talking about, how I feel so shackled to my corporate job or this 9 to 5. And I feel like I really want to use my gifts and my skills to do something different. They have a dream, they have a vision, they have this inkling of something that they really love to do that lights them up. And yet this is what they need to do to actually get the abundance. So if we look here, there's a small golden bowl with some grapes and other vegetables and fruits, and there's a scythe, which is the harvest, right? But that bowl isn't very big, and that could have several different meanings. It could be like a lack of meaning. When you go to work every day, yes, I do bring home the bacon, but it's not satisfying to me. I feel shackled. And this card has come up a couple of times in readings recently, so I think this is definitely a strong, repetitive energy that's going on. But here you see that there is a lock, and then this person has the key right next to it. It has the key, and it's right at the heart center. And so with this masculine, are we honoring that masculine within ourselves? Are we honoring the masculine within our society? I know that for many years I would see, the masculine really venerated and honored. And then there became this shifting point where the masculine was not honored as much, and men were kind of portrayed in movies and in shows and things like that as being sort of bumbling, and their wives had to tell them what to do and how to do it, and then women were resentful about these kind of things, and now it's like we're in this invitation to really honor this masculine, right? The part of ourselves that really wants to move things forward, to explore, to have adventures, to achieve, to produce. There is this part of ourselves, whether you identify as a male or a female. And what came next with that, which I think is really relevant, is the blade, right? So this is a beautiful card, and the blade can either be used as a weapon, to cut and to slice and to take advantage. And and to get what we want. And our words can be used that way. Our thoughts can be used that way. They can be used that way against others, and they can be used that way against ourselves. Or the blade can slowly and really carefully excise and do surgery and remove just those parts of ourselves or just those parts of our situation that aren't working anymore, or have, perhaps grown, cancerous or tumorous. The blade can be this beautiful tool to cut through the bullshit, to release, to bring into our mindset a really balanced kind of mind, or it can be used as a weapon. And we get to decide what that looks like. And you see all kinds of examples out there where people are using their words, using their thoughts, using their belief systems in a positive way, and also a detrimental way to each other, and probably to themselves as well. So that's not as apparent. So the next card that came out was the Divine Feminine, right? And so we have this duality, right? And the Divine Feminine is really about this inner world, our inner knowing, our inner intuition, our feelings, and our passion, right? And our creativity and our ability to birth new ideas and new things. And in this case, a new consciousness for our planet. And the Divine Feminine has really been rising for some time, and sort of fighting for, that equal representation and that equal respect. And there's been an enormous amount of transformation that has gone on in the role of those who identify as female and traditionally, women in many cultures around the world. And there are still many women who are fighting for their right to be seen as an equal. You see both of these cats, and they're standing in equal ground, right? They're standing in equal ground. And the lotus here is the blossoming of that piece. And so, how are we honoring our divine feminine during this time? Are we taking time to get still? And are we taking time to listen and trust our knowing? Trust our knowing about our health, about what our body needs to be healthy, to be safe, what we need to do as a part of the collective, as the community, right? The feminine is very interested in connections and relationships and the web of interaction and ecosystems. And so this is a part that we're being invited into now. And whether you identify by gender as a man or a woman, or fluid, or a different gender, we all have these parts of ourselves that need to go within. This is a really, really important process. This bowl is deep, right? So she's getting ready to look down and to say, what's there for me? What's that shadow part, right? You see, she doesn't really feel burdened, right? So when we get into that intuitive state, this deeply spiritual connected state, we don't feel that yoke. That yoke is often a part of our earthly existence, and the male energy that we saw earlier on the card is really, the 7 of earth. It's really that earth-bound, physical responsibility, tasks that we have to accomplish. And this is really about going within and tapping into our higher connection, our higher self. You see, there's a lot of activation here. Just watching and saying, okay, I have you. And along with the feminine, the divine feminine, so we talked about the divine masculine, divine feminine, what came up was the staff, otherwise known as wands, right, in the traditional tarot. And both the blade and the staff add up to a number 6, numerologically. So there's a balanced energy. There's a balanced energy there. And this, the wands are fire, right? The wands are fire. The wands are creating something, making it happen, manifesting it into existence. So when we get in touch and we get that doing part of ourselves and the being part of ourselves in balance with each other, we do the giving and the receiving in a balanced state, we then come into this ability to manifest. And what are we manifesting now, my friends? You know, for those of you who are empaths and light workers and conscious leaders, we've been manifesting, praying, meditating on a shift in consciousness for our planet for a long time now. Some more recently awoke and began to hold that space, and some have been holding that space for decades, you know, but now we're here. We're able, the staff really is like the one of wands, right? It's like, I have this, I'm ready to take inspired action, right? So we had the blade, which sort of removes and cuts out anything we don't need. And then the wand, the staff, is what we hold out in front of us when we begin the journey, the new journey into this new era of consciousness. So excited about it. I don't know about you. And then we come into the counselor, right? The counselor, the 12 of Cups, the emotion, right? But this is an emotion from a deeply empathic space, right? The counselor, if you think about, for example, Counselor Deanna Troy, I'm gonna reveal myself as a Trekkie now. She stood on the bridge of the Star Trek Enterprise, and she was able to sense in to whatever being, whatever energy source was out there in the universe that they were intersecting, and she could just sense the intention, what was happening, the shift, right? And we see that this is such a deeply connected card looking straight out at you, fully activated, completely fully activated. And on the, it's hard to see on here, I think, but you can see that there's this little crescent moon right here on the staff, right? The crescent moon, which is just a sliver. And now this moon is, you know, fully formated. It has all of these phases, and we've got this full expression, right? This full expression. And there's a lot of activation at the throat chakra, which is, I am a whale, and I go really deep down into that emotional center, really deep down into that passionate place, into that place where I believe so strongly in the future of our planet, in the future of humanity. And then I'm going to express that out, just like I'm doing right now, right? This counselor is the one who people come to, who say, you know, I don't know what's happening right now. I'm feeling really nervous. I'm longing for that normal. I don't know where it is. I don't know how to find it. I just feel like everything under my feet is shifting. And the counselor is like, it's okay. It's okay to feel your deep emotions. It's okay to be in this space where you don't know. We're just going to swim around in here a little bit. We're just going to get used to swimming, right? We were down in the earth energy, and we had this yoke, and we had these shackles, and it felt very constricted. And then we started to open ourselves up into the divine feminine and embrace those wands and our ability to manifest. And now we're just going to swim around in there for a while. And you know what? We might feel lonely, or we might feel irritated because we're stuck in the house with 3 kids and a spouse that we don't usually interact with that much. Or we may be in the house by ourselves, and we really miss being with people and physical touch. And we may be bored as hell, and we may be like, wow, I finally get to do some painting or some piano playing or something I'm really energized by. And all of those things in this deep ocean of emotion are just fine, right? And that gets us to this card here, where we recognize that every person brings this unique vibration. You can see on her head here, there's this wonderful vibration that's coming out. And she's surrounded by a guide, right? By a spirit guide. You know, they're supporting, nourishing, listening to the vibration, responding to that vibration. And she's beginning to play. She's beginning to play this instrument. And when we first begin to play, we hit the wrong chord and we pluck the wrong string, and we don't know necessarily how to make it sound like what we want it to sound like. But then we start to gain mastery. We practice a little bit more, we practice a little bit more, and we get better. And as that sound of our unique vibratory hum begins to expand into the universe, we draw in the support that we need. So whatever we're practicing now on an individual level and a collective level, we will master it. We will master what a new economy looks like for our world. We will master what will work look like when this illness passes us by. We will master, well, how do I want to do my interpersonal relationships? I've been calling all these people and connecting and getting on Zoom calls and doing all, like, do I just want to go back to like not having those connections again? Like, what does community, what does my daily routine look like? We're getting a chance to play as a novice in this new world. And we are always guided. We're always protected. We are always having our ancestors, our spirit guides, whatever, the angels, whatever you like to call them, there for us as we take our first steps, right? It's like being an infant's civilization again. And that leads us to our final card, the blessing of Kumu. And the bottom of this says, no good thing shall be withheld. And this card has come up multiple times over the last few weeks. And I think it's just really important for us to remember this, that, you know, we asked ourselves, was the old culture of hustle and a focus on materialism and a focus on getting as much as we could and a focus on needing to make a lot of money, was all of that really serving us very well? And when we say these are the good things in life, what do we mean by that? I mean, do we mean that those things are the good things, or is it the good thing that we get to connect as deeply as we do? Is it a good thing that we get to relax a little bit, be in the feminine, and enjoy and clean out our homes and create a nest and connect with our loved ones deeply? The blessings are there for us, and no good thing shall be withheld. And there was a part of this interpretation, this is the Earth Warriors Oracle, beautiful deck, that I thought would be really, really appropriate to read to you to finish up this reading. It is time to adjust your belief systems to encompass this entire universe as your creative partner in life. It provides you with resources, opportunities, and learning experiences to gain precious information and life skills, so you are singularly and completely equipped to do what you came to this planet to do. Kumu, the great wisdom teacher, guides you now. Don't allow your mind to create visions of poverty or lack, of failure or absence of support. Focus instead upon the sweet generosity of the universe lovingly providing for you, often in advance of you consciously realizing what it is that you need, with all that is necessary for your best life and fulfillment of your sacred purpose. All the answers, the connections, the resources, everything you need is right there for you at the best moment. With a focus on feeling excitement about opportunities, inspirational innovation, and the best and brightest of human creative endeavor, surge forward in harmony with each other to establish sustainable new systems. You can lend your energy, your mind, your body, to what you want to have happen in this world. The universe will hear and feel you and provide resources accordingly. Let your thoughts and hopes become your prayers, and the answer to those prayers will benefit all life on this planet. I don't think it gets any better than that, my friends. This is what we're destined for, right? No good thing shall be withheld. And while we feel all these changes, we feel like we're chasing our tail, and we we kind of miss that really masculine energy of doing and achieving and scaling and growing and money and titles and all these things. And then we come into our feminine and we just get quiet and still. Begin to go within and we listen. And we tap into all of those deep emotions, whatever comes up. It's okay, whatever comes up. And we start to play our new instrument. We start to play, and it's not only your instrument is a part of a greater orchestra, right? So I'm playing drums and somebody else is playing piano and somebody else is playing guitar and somebody else is playing another flute, for example. And we're all learning. And at first we kind of sound like, when 12-year-olds go into the band practice for the first time, right? We're all like, "Arr." And then over time, we each get more proficient at this. And we begin to play together and we learn how to read the music. And now we're like, oh, well, what if we kind of improvise and we do it like this, right? And then the orchestration gets bigger and bigger, and it swells, and it brings in this unification, right? And we always have what we need. So while it can be challenging at this time, and I know it is, it's been like that for me as well, to keep that positive, optimistic viewpoint, it's absolutely essential for you as light workers, as empaths, as conscious leaders, to be holding that potential, to be holding that and saying, yes, this is what's possible for us. This is why I came here at this time. I'm so excited to be here, to see this shift. And it's really, really amazing that we can be here together, that I can talk to you in this way, that I can help to be the counselor, right? And use my voice to bring across these messages. And I'd love to hear your messages as well. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Please leave me some ideas about what you're really passionate about or what has really shifted for you. What do you want now that you didn't even realize that you wanted before? Because we were so busy doing that we couldn't really get to that part of you that lights you up. So again, I'm Bevin. I'm a life purpose coach for intuitive empaths, light workers, and conscious leaders. I help people to thrive while you serve, while you give, while you make our world a better place. You can check out all of the details about how to get in contact with me, my website, my private community at 1millionempaths.com. Love to have you come inside and check us out. It's a beautiful, high vibrational space. So thank you, my friends, for being here. And if you have a longing for normal, realize that all of that is normal and that we are together and individually creating our own normal in this new era. Namaste.